feral Wolverine. It's the Wolverine with the crazy hair, where he's like, I'm Wolverine. I don't have a nose. I look like a leper. Hey everybody, Blake T. Wilde here, and welcome back to the Comic Schtick Podcast, the podcast where comics are my shtick. As always, I am here by myself. It's another single episode this time. Let me know if there's anybody you want me to try and get to be on as a guest on the show. I've had Joel, Cape Joel from YouTube's very own Cape Joel, as well as Sal from Comic Pop on the show recently. So let me know in the comments if there's anybody I should try to reach out to and get on the podcast. But this episode, as every episode is brought to you by my Patreon, patreon.com/Smokey's videos, as well as my Etsy shop, blaketwild.etsy.com. Over on the Patreon, I'm currently going through the entire MCU each week. I just did the episode for Guardians of the Galaxy, so that'll be up there shortly, and you can check out every other commentary track that I have done for the MCU films up to that point. And all of my comics are posted on there in high-quality resolutions, along with my own commentary and like behind-the-scenes notes, stuff like that is on there as well. And you get early access to videos, which you might want, because starting in May, there's something big coming that I am working away on. I need to get more work done on it, but it's coming. And my Etsy shop has all of my physical copies of my comics, of course. Every purchase comes with a free head sketch of any character of your choice. So, this episode, as you can tell from the title, is MCU Leaks and Theories. There's a fair amount of stuff going on. Honestly, not that much stuff. I got 2 pages worth, but I'm sure I'll make it last. So, I guess I'll get right into it. I don't know how long this episode's going to be. I feel like I say that every time, and then immediately afterward I always say, but I always say that, and it's usually a long one. So, this is building off the back of an episode from a couple weeks ago where I discussed the Spider-Man Brand New Day trailer. If you haven't listened to that episode, if you haven't watched that episode yet, make sure to check it out, because I have some thoughts on it. Oh, I got some thoughts. Oh, boy, howdy do I have some thoughts on Spider-Man Brand New Day. Well, one of the things that I came up with is my theory that Imanis Fondi, the guy who's playing MJ's new boyfriend, is playing the villain or one of the villains. A villain, if you will. I don't know if it's gonna be Paul, but I would love it if it was. My main idea is that he is whatever the thing is that's like taken over people's minds. Again, just go back and watch the episode. I have another short video covering my like reaction to it, and like the theory that I have regarding the main villain of the story. And I totally overlooked something when I was pitching that idea for Imanis Fondi to be the main villain, because Keith David is also in this film. Seemingly no one knows who he's playing. According to the YouTube video, he is described as the narrator. And he shows up like within the last third of the video of the official trailer, and he's doing this monologue about how spiders have a certain lifeline, and you know when they die, and then different times of life for the spider, and death will lead to a rebirth, you know, shit like that. And now I was talking to somebody about it because they asked me what my thoughts were, what happened in the trailer, because I'm a comic book nerd. And they're like, Blake, tell me what's happening. And it was a fun conversation because I got to watch the light leave his eyes as I was explaining the storyline that this is seemingly based off of, aka Spider-Man the Other, one that I vehemently hate. I hate the whole organic webbing. I hate the totemic order of the spider and the multiversal bullshit. I want Spider-Man to be friendly and a neighbor. I don't want him to be visiting neighboring universes. I'm okay with it in the Spider-Verse movies because, like a lot of things, they refined the adaptation later. But I don't care about Spider-Verse the comics. I don't care about Spider-Man doing something with the Spider Gods and the Master Weaver and Morlun the Spider Vampire, because that is who I think Keith David is playing. I think Keith David is playing Morlun the Spider Vampire, the multiversal Spider Vampire at that, because a couple of reasons. One is that the other storyline, that's like where Morlun starts showing up. And I doubt he's going to be playing Ezekiel, who is like, what is Ezekiel? He's like the previous totem avatar of the Great Spider or whatever. I don't think they're going to do that because Sony literally just did that with Madam Web. And he got crushed by a Pepsi sign. So, listening to that trailer, go listen to it. Pause it right now. Go listen to that Keith David's monologue. Come back here. Literally no other time would he be saying those words unless it was a monologue to the main character. And it sounds so much like he is, like, Spider-Man's like tied up or something, or like he's weakened and like got the shit kicked out of him. And Keith David is explaining to him exactly what's about to happen, how he's gonna get Spider Night Vision, how he's gonna have fucking organic webs coming out of him. If they do that, I don't think they're gonna do the organic webs. I think my initial pitch was that they're gonna steal his powers, that Paul Emanuel is gonna figure out a way to steal Peter Parker's abilities. Like maybe he's a student for Bruce Banner, and he comes across some like data readings, or like Peter accidentally gets scanned or something, and he rips the powers away from him. Because there's another voice in the trailer that it's overlaid with Michael Mondo as the Scorpion, and it's like, get out of my way, or like, you can't stop me, something like that. And the way that they edited the video, it's very specifically meant to make you think that's the Scorpion saying that, because they overlaid it to the Scorpion saying something. But it cuts away so quickly, you can't really tell. But it doesn't sound anything like Michael Mondo. And I think it sounds more like Imanis Fandi. So, where was I? Yeah, so that's the first reason that I think Keith David is Morlun. Second reason is that I don't even remember. What was my first reason? Can you tell I've had a lot of caffeine today? So, where the fuck even was I? It's the other storyline. Peter Parker's becoming a Spider-Man. It's the whole thing. I guess it was just the fact that Sony is really pushing, or well, Sony was, according to like rumors and discussions, Sony was pushing to make the fourth Spider-Man movie lean into being more multiversal again, which, Morlun is a multiversal spider vampire. So I think it can kind of add up, especially, like, I'm basing this all entirely off of his brief dialogue in the trailer, but like, who else are you gonna get Keith David to play? They already cast Mephisto. Unless Keith David shows up as a different version of Mephisto. They just recast Mephisto every time he fucking pops up. But I just think it's gonna be Morlun. Unfortunately enough, I had a discussion with my friend about it that I discussed at the beginning, and I came to the conclusion, oh my god, they're gonna fucking adapt Morlun into the MCU. Because, like, what else are they gonna do? Maybe he's the Jackal, but again, the fact that he's saying those specific things in the monologue about, like, spiders this, rebirth that, he knows something about the stupid bullshit that's hopefully not gonna be introduced. I really hope that they don't do the other stuff. And then Peter Parker, he's gonna speak to Spider God or something. Oh my god, I don't know. I don't know what to think. Because that kind of, like, I was already not too excited because the whole Peter Parker loses powers, the other adaptation. But when I reached the conclusion that, oh my god, Keith David might be playing Morlun, I wanted to kill myself. I was so upset. It's just, I just don't care. I really hope I'm wrong. Although, like, if you've been watching the Comic Schtick podcast long enough, you know how desperate I am for one of my MCU theories to come true. And if it's this one, I don't think I'll be able to sleep at night. The other Brand New Day, I guess, theory is involving MJ. And this is even dumber than the Morlun thing. Now, this was brought to my attention by someone else who was pointing out the, like, online shtick, the joke, the meme, that every, whoops, sorry, I hit the microphone. I gotta stop doing that. Every MCU Spider-Man movie thus far has had Spider-Man's face really close, and the villain reflected in his lens, or lenses. And the poster for this one, if you haven't seen it, there's a new poster that came out, where it's a close-up of Spider-Man's face, and in his lens is the reflection of MJ. Now, do I think that means that Mary Jane Watson is the villain? No. But I do think she could be a clone. What if... Ooh, like Marvel. What if MJ is, like, some sort of clone? What if Imanis Fondi is playing a form of the Jackal, or the Jackal's assistant if Keith David is the Jackal? There is a keg in the trailer. I pointed this out in my like trailer reaction, or like whatever, the discussion about the villain itself, and whatever that video was called, the secret villain of Brand New Day or something. I got a better look at it finally, and there is a keg called the Green Jackal. So is that just a reference that's cute and slime they just put into the movie, or is the Jackal actually in this fucking film? You can see it when Peter's watching MJ and possibly Paul at the house party. The keg is sitting on the counter. But if it is something Jackal related, and it seems like it's really flowing into the fucking DNA stuff, what if MJ is like a clone, or she's under the control of some way? I don't know why that would happen. It would, to make it work, I think it would have to be totally unrelated to anything Peter Parker is doing. Because otherwise, like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, you can't do anything. Well, like, I don't know, because it can't be that whoever is making the clone is jealous of Peter, because they're not together. So it would have to just be like, this dude fell in love with MJ, and she said no, so he cloned her, or like controlled her mind or something. Oh no, what if the thing that is in the trailer where it shoots between the different people's minds, assuming that that's not Sadie Sink trying to break herself out of the Department of Damage Control Center? What... Oh my god, what if it's Keith David and MJ is controlled by Keith David's mind or something, and oh god, and he's dating Paul? Maybe I'm bringing myself back around on this movie. If that happens, if that's the theory that I get correct, oh, I'm gonna sleep like a baby at night. Pissing myself and crying constantly. Yeah. That's pretty much, I think, the majority of the theories that I haven't already discussed that I have regarding Spider-Man Brand New Day. Because everything else I kind of covered in those other 3-ish videos that I discussed. The Comic Schtick episode on Brand New Day, the villain episode, or video rather, spin-off video, and my trailer reaction to Brand New Day. I can't really think of anything else other than, I don't know, they did leak the Lego set, or they didn't leak it, they released the Lego sets, which obviously, you can't put all your faith into, as much as I would love that. What is it? One is a skyscraper. It's the Department of Damage Control Center, actually, and it blows up like in the trailer. And the Hulk is there, and Scorpion is there, and Tarantula is there. Those are the three figures, along with Spider-Man and a damage control agent and a and a hot dog vendor. So there's that. There is an APC, like we see in the trailer, which is involving Tombstone and Tarantula in Spider-Man. So there's that. That's like the first official look at what Tombstone might look like, assuming that whatever like concept art that Lego bases their figures off of is correct. And it's a cool looking design, I guess. I mean, yeah, it's Tombstone. He's a big fucking pale dude. That's all what more can you need? He looks he looks pretty dapper. Oh, another theory. Here we go. Add this to the list of in the show notes of all the things I'm talking about this episode. Future me. That is the montage. So I think, I can't remember if I've already discussed this, but I think that the film will begin with Peter stalking MJ on Instagram. Again, are we supposed to be sympathetic to that? Are we supposed to be like, oh, poor Peter? Like, move on, dude. She magically forgot you. Move on. Stop stalking her. Stop trying to befriend Ned again. Move on with your goddamn life. It's creepy. But I think it's going to open on that, and then it's going to go into the Boomerang, Tarantula. Is there a third one? Is there a third villain? I don't think so. I think it's him like swinging, recreating the Amazing Fantasy cover. Like all of that looks the exact same. It's all set on a very overcast blue New York morning. So I think it's gonna be like, oh, I'm so depressed. My ex-girlfriend magically forgot me. My best friend magically forgot me. All I have Instagram reels to jerk off to. I guess it's time to go be Spider-Man. Pulls on his mask, swings away. The hand ninjas, maybe Daredevil will be a part of that. Because there's no way that there's not a character that they haven't, replaced or gotten rid of or just not rendered into the scenes for the trailer. But I think all those bits in the trailer that we saw, all the slow motion little action pieces, it's going to definitely be a montage showing what Spider-Man's been up to, how he's been Peter Parker. Maybe it'll be intercut with like a kind of Sam Raimi-esque, here's Peter living his life, trying to eat a hot dog, or whatever happens in Spider-Man 2. And that will eventually lead, like, it'll build into all these things, all these action set pieces. It might not even, like, what if the hand stuff doesn't even take place at the prison? I say that because we see the hand staff, the hand ninjas, in the prison. Two of them have, like, giant electric prods or something. It's so weird looking. It's the two on the far ends. I don't know what they're about. But we see them, and then the next time we see him, it's when Spidey's leaping at him from, like, a rooftop. But there's something fake about that scene. Obviously, it's all fake. But there's something that just looks off. And so I'm like, is that, like, a scene that's just unrelated? Did they edit it visually to make it look different for the trailer? Or is Marvel back to like, not showing everything or like editing things to go into the trailer? Because honestly, I do miss when they did that with, like, to throw people off. They didn't do it much, but it was fun when they did. But anyway, it's gonna be the montage, and then that will progress into like, oh, here's a new thing. An APC is on a rampage, or like Frank Castle, the Punisher, is getting up to some bullshit. And so they, it builds into that, and then it's the APC chase with Frank in the van. That leads into the damage control building. Tremel Tillman's character might be involved with damage control. Maybe they're on like a working relationship with Spider-Man in some way, and he is keeping Sadie Sink in secret, and that's like a big twist reveal for Spider-Man, at least, because there's no way they wouldn't show the audience that that guy's the bad guy or something. Is that like Spider-Man realizes, like, holy shit, this girl has been held captive by the Department of Damage Control. I don't know. There's also a scene at a park I just remembered where Sadie Sink, I think, was filmed. Like, they were filming the scene. I think she gets captured by Department of Damage Control, who everybody was like, oh my god, it's the Mutant Control Group, or whatever it was. I think it was like the Mutant Containment Unit, the MCU, from the later Fox X-Men films. That was odd, right? Remember when the Fox X-Men films introduced a new set of villains called the MCU, who specifically were trying to capture and take away our favorite mutant characters? Okay, I think I'm done talking about that. I did watch the Punisher special presentation trailer finally, and it looks like the Netflix show. Looks like a big continuation of the Netflix show. Looks like they just want to do Lone Wolf and Cub. Why doesn't Disney just buy the rights to Lone Wolf and Cub? They did it in Punisher Season 2. And yes, I have watched Punisher. I've watched Season 1 and some of Season 2, and then I didn't care. Because it's a bad show. They've done it in a Mandalorian. Over 3 seasons in a movie, they've done Lone Wolf and Cub. They're going to do it again with the Punisher, where he has to protect a girl and her mother, which is also the plot of Punisher Warzone. That's what that movie is. He befriends a small girl and her mother who run afoul of Jigsaw, and then he has to save them with the help of 2 meandering detectives. But it just looks fucking dumb. And it doesn't look interesting. Because, again, they're doing the whole, Frank Castle's not the Punisher again. Oh, he has to come back and be the Punisher one last time. But that's it. That's the last kill. That's the last time Frank's gonna be the Punisher. Because he just wants to be a normal guy. Like, fuck off. Just give me Garth Ennis full-on Punisher Max Punisher. Because that's what this seems to be. This seems to be both an adaptation of Garth Ennis' Punisher Max, but also Garth Ennis' regular Punisher from 616, which got very weird. That's the one that introduces the Russian, from the Thomas Jane film. That's also the one that introduces seemingly one of the main villains for the Punisher special presentation, which is fucking Mama whatever. She's like a quadriplegic, or she becomes a quadriplegic mob boss of the Magia, and if I remember correctly, Punisher fights a polar bear, and I believe she also gets mauled by a polar bear. I'll say this, if Punisher fights a polar bear, and or an old woman gets mauled by a polar bear in the Punisher special presentation, One Last Kill, I will rescind all of my bad will towards it, and I will appreciate the MCU Punisher. But if it does not, I still hold my thoughts upon it, that it is not a good Punisher adaptation as a character. It doesn't get who the Punisher is. It tries too much to make the audience empathize with him because they just want to bring in some kind of money to get people to subscribe to watch their show, instead of just, I don't know. It just doesn't feel like the Punisher. But, there's nothing else really showing. Frank is hallucinating again. Oh, no. He's having PTSD from what he did in the Middle East again. Great. Cool. We didn't already get 2 fucking seasons of that. But, keeping in line with the Punisher, Daredevil Born Again. Season 2 is almost done within the next month. And Season 3 has been spoiled by Mike Coulter. Luke Cage is returning, first of all. I am very excited. Again, I hope that they reveal that Luke Cage and Jessica Jones have had a daughter, and her name is Danielle. And Squirrel Girl's babysitting her. But I haven't watched Daredevil Born Again Seasons 1 or 2. I also still have not finished Daredevil Season 3. But I have a friend who has, and he was telling me that he was the one who told me, by the way, because I saw that picture of Mike Coulter that he posted with him and Matt Murdock, Charlie Cox, and Deborah Ann Wall, aka Karen Page. and him, and like, you know, they're taking a selfie. I was so fixated on on Mike Coulter, I didn't even notice that Charlie Cox was dressed as Matt Murdock in an orange prison jumpsuit. Needless to say, they deleted the post. But you know, people make mistakes. Hey, come on, don't get too mad, Kevin Feige. This will just get people to watch it even more. What was this planned? Was it planned for him to do that? You gotta wonder. But seemingly, based on what I've heard and can figure out, it seems like Daredevil Born Again Season 3 will be adapting Devil in Cell Block D, which is the first story arc of... Is it Ed Brubaker's Daredevil run? I believe. Yeah, it's the immediate follow-up to Brian Michael Bendis' time on Daredevil, where the federal government is coming after Matt Murdock. Wilson Fisk gets arrested. He gets sent to Rikers Island. The FBI is like, we're going to make a fucking example of Matt Murdock and Daredevil. We're arresting that blind motherfucker. We're throwing him in Rikers prison with all of his villains that he's apprehended and we've put away there. And we're going to make him fucking suffer. It's a great arc. It's long, it's arduous. It beats you down as much as it does Matthew Murdock. But the main reason that I think it's Devil in Cell Block D, aside from the fact that it's just Matt Murdock getting arrested, which has been done so many goddamn times, is the fact that, spoiler alert, I guess, for Daredevil Born Again Season 2, seemingly Foggy Nelson is dead, which I thought was going to be a thing in Season 1, but apparently they did it in Season 2. I don't know. If that is true, because I haven't bothered to check, Devil in Cell Block D is like almost entirely about Matt Murdock trying to get revenge for Foggy Nelson's death. He gets arrested, sent to prison. Foggy and like his paralegal come to visit Matt one day and like, you know, figure out what they're going to do about this Daredevil court case. And as they're leaving, a prisoner fucking sneaks up on him and just stabs Foggy in the stomach and the chest a bunch of times. And Foggy bleeds out in this prison, and Matt is stuck in solitary confinement and can hear it. He can hear Foggy's heart slowly, or like, you know, rapidly, just how scared Foggy is. And then it starts slowing down, and he just screams in fucking anger because the guards won't listen to him. He's pounding on the heavy solitary door, and like a couple rows down, the Kingpin is also in solitary because he killed some guys who tried to attack him, and he's just there laughing. But here's the thing. Foggy Nelson's not dead. He is put in witness protection and is moved to like the suburbs outside of Chicago. And he lives there for a while as the secret identity. He tries to escape, I think, or like, I think Elektra. I think it's Elektra. I think Elektra finds out that he's alive, and she tries to like do something with him and like get him out for Matt or blah blah blah, whatever. It's not important because, you know, it returns to the status quo eventually. But the whole like second half of Cell Block D, the Devil in Cell Block D storyline, is Matt pretty much having to bring himself to work with Wilson Fisk, the Kingpin, to escape prison, to figure out who was really behind Foggy's assassination. And that that leads him to Europe, and he has this sprawling European adventure, while back home, people are just like, where's Daredevil? I doubt they're going to do part of the, you know, the Europe part, because that'd be really weird. Although, spoiler alert, Daredevil at that time was Iron Fist. Danny Rand starts taking up the guise of Iron Fist because he's under the impression that Foggy reached out to him to start doing it once Matt gets arrested so just like months on end. He becomes Daredevil. You know, for like, Matt's in the fucking slammer for like, it feels like it's at least like almost a year. It's a long time. But Danny Rand is becoming Daredevil at this point. And there's a whole storyline with Ben Urich trying to figure out what's going on with him. Obviously, we don't have Ben Urich anymore because for some reason they decided to kill him off. But we have his niece. I don't remember what her relation is. But this could really work. This storyline is one that could really work right now in this area of the MCU because, hey, if you do go that far, you can bring Danny Rand in and dress him up like Daredevil. Is that something he did? Did he do that in the Defenders? At the end, do they reveal like, oh, Danny's dressed like Daredevil now? Is that a thing, or is that something I'm making up? I don't remember. But that'll be neat. Get ready for some new rumors and leaks coming soon. Because Secret Wars is expected to film this summer, with pre-production already officially announced as happening. Funnily enough, this came out pretty close, pretty early, right before the big announcement that Disney's laying off some people from Marvel. 1,000 jobs are being laid off from Marvel. They're getting rid of their visual effects teams or something. They're bringing them on as a for-hire or like per project basis, which it sounds like Disney took all of the wrong business, lessons from Marvel Comics when they bought them, because now they're just treating all their other employees like the comic artists and writers get treated, and colorists and letterers and everybody else. So that'll be coming up. That's neat. We got Doomsday this December. I still think there should have been a year or 2 years, I suppose, in between films. I think Doomsday should have come out this year. 2027, no movie. 2028, or maybe, well, I don't know. I guess late 2027 could work. I still believe they should have done, this is something they fully missed out on, have done a Battle World live action show for Disney Plus. Because that way, like, the audience isn't going to give a shit that the first 20-25 minutes of Secret Wars is spent establishing Latverion. I feel like they're probably going to call it Latverion because that's the name of the planet in the 2015 Secret Wars. They're not going to care that, all these realities are tied together, if that's what they even do. Because the concept art that leaked many months ago, it doesn't seem like that's... Well, I guess it does. I think there's some giant walls, but that could be anything. That could be a castle. It doesn't seem like they're going to be doing like the comic book idea. Which I thought we were past that. I thought we were past, comic books are silly. Let's actually bring in the full ideas from the books. I thought James Gunn broke that glass ceiling. But based on the concept art that I'm remembering, it was like a bunch of Hulks. The Hulk world. But it's feudal, like, Middle Europe. Kind of like Latveria. So my main worry about Secret Wars is that Battle World is not, in fact, a bunch of realities meshed together in fantastical ways, separated by massive walls or whatever it is. My worry is that it's just medieval Europe, but hey, look, Captain America's wearing a cloak. Hey, look, the Hulk, She-Hulk is in a frothy, fluttery dress, like she's a maiden at a Renaissance festival. Like, that's really my main issue. I really don't want Battle World to look like a Ren Fair, which it looks like it might be based on the concept art. Black Panther 3. We know it's coming. Marvel Studios recently filed Fragment Productions LLC, which is the production company for Black Panther 3. They filed something with that. I can't remember what. It was a while ago when I wrote this note. So, they're getting ready to start producing Black Panther 3. And guys, as much as I hate to say this, I don't think Armor Wars is going to be coming out in that open 2028 Marvel film slot. But I'm still hopeful. I'm the only person who thinks Armor Wars is still gonna be a thing. They could do it in the new universe. They could do it in the reboot. Keep Rhodey around. I don't give a shit about Tony Stark. Let him still be dead. Who cares? Put a fucking statue of him in Times Square or whatever. Replace the big statues at Grand Central Station with a bunch of Iron Men. Bring Rhodey back, though. Have him do Armor Wars. Sam Rockwell as Justin Hammer. Have him do Armor Wars. I'm trying to think of another Iron Man villain. I can't. It's impossible. It's literally impossible to come up with 3 Iron Man villains. I know the Mandarin, but they're not going to do that. He's not an Iron Man villain anymore. He's dead. He's not coming back. Aldrich Killian is not coming back in the new universe. You have my guarantee. The looks-maxing villain that is Aldrich Killian will not return in the MCU. Shit, you know what would be cool for Armor Wars in this Black Panther 3 section of the video? Is if they did AIM. If Armor Wars becomes a Phase 7? Phase 8? Film or production? I'd imagine a film. I think a film would work. I don't think we need an Armor Wars show. And neither did Marvel. I think AIM could be awesome. AIM has not had enough to do. They haven't had anything to do, really. All AIM has done in the MCU is make a bunch of hot plant people. They didn't even get their big-headed guy. They didn't get the big-headed guy. I'm turning into Jerry Seinfeld. Uh-oh. But I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful for Armor Wars. Black Panther 3, Space Wakanda. I've been saying it for a while. That was my theory about if they didn't kill off T'Challa after Chadwick Boseman's, untimely early passing. I thought it would have been cool if they were like, he's in space. They pulled a Poochie. It's like, but T'Challa had to go off to his own planet now. I thought that would have been a really neat idea to just suddenly introduce the fact that, much like in the comics where they suddenly introduced the fact that Wakanda has a space empire. That would have been fucking awesome. And oh my god, you could, idea. What if, like the Marvel thing, what if Black Panther 3 set in space with the space Wakandan Empire? You can build off some audience goodwill from that because of Marvel Rivals. But what you can also do with the cosmic side, now that you own the X-Men and all that bullshit, is introduce the Shi'ar Empire. And with that, you can introduce the Shi'ar Royal Guard, whatever they're called, the Gladiator, the other ones. You can bring them in, have them be the villains, have it be some kind of space colonial turf war between the galactic Wakandan Empire and the Shi'ar Empire. Fuck the Kree. Who cares about those weird colored people? I doubt we're ever going to get much of them anyway. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. did everything you need to do with the Kree for a storyline anyway. Fuck the Skrulls. They ruined them. The Skrulls were a disappointment. Get out of here. Shi'ar Empire and those weird-ass bird people now? That's where things are. That's where the future is for the MCU. Because many people don't think about it. The X-Men are a heavily spacefaring organization. The X-Men go to space and interact with aliens and cosmic empires far more than the Avengers do. They might even do it more than the Guardians of the Galaxy somehow. I think that would work. And if you want to get a little crazier, let's get nuts. Bring in some Inhumans, too. Man, I hope that that's a thing. But speaking of X-Men, X-Men movie, the Mutants movie, whatever the first one is that's coming out, have some new writers. This is often... What was that? Did I hear something? This is often a thing that happens in film production. Multiple people are brought in for different drafts of a film. So, Joanna Kahlo, writer of the Thunderbolts, and Lee Sung-yin from The Bear, I think that's the creator and showrunner and lead writer of The Bear, are now writing Jake Schreier's X-Men film. Jake Schreier being the director of The Thunderbolts, which I finally just watched. I think that's what next week's episode will be about. It'll be a very timely review of The Thunderbolts. But in an interview, Jake Schreier said, quote, "When you go back and read X-Men comics, there's ideology, but also interpersonal drama, almost a soap opera quality." I would say it is absolutely a soap opera quality. No almost about it. Having writers who understand both how to drive ideology from personal stakes, if we get that right, that's what will feel most honest to what the X-Men can be. And then he doesn't really say anything else about, what could possibly happen. But there is another article, seemingly from the same interview, I can't really tell, about Marvel's future X plans. When asked how much he and Marvel are considering the long-term future of the franchise while developing the script, Jake Schreier said, "I think that, obviously, first things first. We have to make one great movie, but we always have an eye as we're talking about it too. What are the different places this can go? What are the places that have been in the comics? What hasn't been explored as much? Shi'ar Empire. And how can that be incorporated? And what are some of the different avenues that we could take that feel like the kind of less trodden path that we could go down?" But those ideas are always out there as we have the discussions. Not much information, but thank God it seems like they're taking some kind of originality from the comics and doing something different. They're not going to be doing the Phoenix saga again. I know third time's the charm, but I don't think they're going to do it. I really hope they don't. Can I just talk about Jean Grey real quick? Specifically her costumes. Because I have been playing Marvel Rivals recently, and I'm going to discuss this later with the X-Men 97 stuff. Jean Grey just never has a good fucking outfit. Marvel Girl sucks. It's just a green dress skirt thing and a big dumb face mask. Before that, she had what? The school uniform, the utility suit. I can't even, X Factor, all of her other costumes really seem themed after whatever group she's kind of in at the moment. But, everyone's favorite is the Phoenix. The green, yellow, I'm looking at the action figure, trying to remember what it looks like. Gold boots, high elbow sleeves, the Phoenix logo that emits fire when the Phoenix comes out. I've never liked that one. It's either that one or it's the stupid Jim Lee costume. That's right. I'm going to say it. I don't like many of Jim Lee's 90s X-Men stylings. Rogue is the best one. And it's just kind of like a costume and a jacket. I hate the Cyclops one. I don't get the Y strap. What kind of suspender is that? Is that what it is, by the way? That's his suspender. Because he's Cyclops. He has one eye and he has one suspender. But I've never liked it. I think the best Jean Grey has looked is in New X-Men, where she wears a cool black trench coat and a weird ribbed sweater. Sometimes it has her logo on the chest piece, sometimes it doesn't. Usually it doesn't, because it's just clothes. Jean Grey looks the best when she's just wearing regular clothes. I don't like any of her other costumes. Again, same goes for Cyclops. Best Cyclops look is the new X-Men look. You heard it here first. But, based on future X plans, there's fucking so much they could do. And I think the Shi'ar could really work, because they kind of did some space stuff in the last Fox X-Men film. But, what even was that? Right? Who gives a shit about that terrible movie? I think the idea, the pitch for the Shi'ar and the Wakandan Empire could work pretty well. But I really don't see any of the the cast from the Fox X-Men carrying over, except for Ryan Reynolds. Because Patrick Stewart and Ian McKellen are coming back as Professor X and Magneto. James Marsden, Rebecca Romaine, I don't know. Romaine? Alan Cumming, Kelsey Grammer, Cyclops, Jean Grey, Nightcrawler, Beast. They're coming back in Doomsday and maybe Secret Wars. And then, of course, Hugh Jackman as Wolverine and Ryan Reynolds as Deadpool. Have I discussed the theory, the alleged leak of the opening of Doomsday yet on the show? I don't think I have. And that is, It's the dumbest fucking thing I've ever heard. The rumor is that Doomsday begins with Deadpool and Wolverine working to stop an incursion. And it's an incursion between seemingly whatever the Fox Deadpool Earth is and Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man Earth. The TVA is involved in some way. I don't fucking know. Or they just have a device. They have a device that they have to plant on Tobey's Earth to blow it the fuck up. And the gist is they will fight Tobey Maguire, who is the only fucking superhero in the world on that Earth. So really, they could have gone anywhere. They could have gone to Utah and done this. But instead, they go to the one city on that planet that has a superpower guy. But the gist is that they do it. They plant the bomb. Hugh Jackman Wolverine stays behind. He dies. Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man dies. Oh well. Deadpool escapes. Who gives a shit? There's no way that's happening, because that sounds like the dumbest fucking thing possible. And I would like to have more confidence and respect for Michael Waldron and I think it's McFeely? Or is it Christopher Marcus? One of them. One of the writing duo who did the other Avengers and the Captain America movies. The only one of them came back for Doomsday and Secret Wars for some reason. I would like to say that they can come up with something better. And if not, kaput. I think it would be fun if it starts with an incursion on Tobey Maguire's Earth. And he's swinging through the city. And it's just pandemonium. It's gotten to the point where Spider-Man is like, I can't do this. There's a fucking Earth crashing down. I can't stop this. I gotta get home. I gotta get home to her. And he's swinging through the city and just boom, boom, shit's flying like asteroids or whatever. The Earth is breaking apart. Buildings are exploding. People are getting thrown across the fucking sky. And Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man swinging through the city of New York. And he bashes into the apartment that he shares with his wife. And he's like, where, hello, are you okay? He's calling out to her. And then Bryce Dallas Howard shows up. It's like, reveal, he married Gwen. That's what I would do if I was the screenwriter for Avengers Doomsday. That's how I would start the movie. A bit more X-Men stuff, more X plans for the X future. Jeff Snyder, who is a guy who he gets pretty good information if you're aware of the leakosphere. I don't know what you call it. That kind of ecosystem online of leakers and rumorists and whatnot. So he believes that another Deadpool film will be the first production after Avengers Secret Wars instead of the Mutants or the X-Men or whatever it was. Even then, they never really said it was an X-Men movie. They just kind of said it was just abstractly dubbed the Mutants. So this could be an X-Force thing, maybe? X-Force has long been in talks since Deadpool 2, if not before Deadpool 2. So that would be neat, I guess. I don't really know what you could possibly do, because I feel like you just kind of have to establish a fair amount to do X-Force. Unless Cable shows up. Okay, well, I'm thinking more of X-Force from the 2000s. The gray-clad Black Ops group. But I feel like it would probably be a mixture of that and the original, Liefeld idea of it, where Cable's leading this. You could do that now that I think about it, especially if you're introducing new young talent. The original X-Force is kind of mostly comprised of child soldiers now that I think about it. So you could bring them in. Peter is back, he's their secretary or something. I don't really know what else you could do. Deadpool's doing bullshit. X-23, bring Daphne Keane back, please. The other things he has is, let's see. Marvel is reportedly eyeing Peter Claffey and Odessa Azion. Uzion? Is it Uzion or is it Ozion? Uzion? Odessa Uzion. Odessa Ozion. I don't know. But they are apparently rumored to be in, the short call list for the characters of Beast and Rogue. I don't know who either of those people are. I don't. I never heard of him before this. Hugh Jackman will not return as Wolverine after Avengers Secret Wars. This is noted saying he might show up in Deadpool 4, which might be a thing. As like a cameo or something, or a joke. Which means there's a chance he shows up in Secret Wars. My long-held theory is that the credits scene in Doomsday, this was before Deadpool 3 came out, so I feel like it would have been more impactful, but whatever, was Doomsday ends with boom, the worlds explode, screen goes white, there's no sound in the theater except for some assholes whispering or somebody's eating popcorn or opening a snack or fucking on their phone. And people are just sitting there watching this blank white screen, and then the white fades into a burning sun as we pan down, and then it's the middle of like Midtown in Manhattan. Hugh Jackman's Wolverine is just walking down the street, and, he's doing whatever. It just looks like a regular, modern, normal day. Oh, they did it! They must have saved everything. Like, maybe that's how Doomsday ends. It ends with that drawing feeling, wow, maybe they did it. Or maybe not. I don't know. What works better? Because they did that in Infinity War. They were like, oh my god, they did it. But nope, no, they didn't. So yeah, I guess it would be better if it's like, wow, no, they just fucking handedly lost. Anyway, so it's Wolverine, Hugh Jackman, walking down Midtown Manhattan, whatever. He gets like a phone call or something. He's like, I'll be right there, bub. And then the camera starts lifting up out of the street as he like heads around, or he heads into an alleyway, starts suiting up, snicks his claws, and the camera goes up. Oh, there goes the city. There goes Manhattan. There's some water. What's that? Why are there giant stone walls around the island of Manhattan, or the peninsula island of Manhattan? What is it? It's an island. Go up, even higher. Maybe some Thors are flying past in the clouds, breaking through the clouds, going up. You see more places. You see the world where dogs are people, and everything's made out of a fire hydrant. You see 1940s. You see 2099. You see the medieval Hulk Ren Fair being held. Go up. Boom, and until you're out in just the vacuum of nothing is where the camera is. Fucking Latverion Battle World is sitting there, and then it cuts to black. And then it says, the multiverse will return in Avengers Secret Wars. I think the multiverse will return works better. Just put a period there. Don't put in Avengers Secret Wars. But they're probably going to put Avengers Secret Wars. Really drive that audience boost. So, final thing is X-Men 97. I really need to go back and rewatch this show because I don't remember a goddamn thing about it, aside from the adaptation of Ease for Extinction. So, we don't know when this is coming out. Seemingly it's this year. Hopefully it's this summer or sometime soon. But there are some leaked pictures of Quentin Quire, spoiler by the way, wearing a red Phoenix shirt. So he's a fan of the Jean Grey Phoenix costume. Of course he would be. And two other characters I don't recognize. But more importantly, there is a brand new character poster that was just released, which shows all of the X-Men, mostly I guess, in their new outfits for this season. I had to look this up because I didn't remember. Apparently the X-Men got like sent through time or something. Did I not finish X-Men 97? I could have sworn I did, but I don't remember that. I remember Genosha, E is for Extinction, Gambit dies. Is he on this poster, by the way? No, he's not. Jubilee and Sunspot go into a video game. I might not have finished it. I don't remember anything else. I thought I did. I thought I waited until all the episodes came out. If I did finish it, I clearly don't remember. But apparently they, like, different groupings of them got sent through time and space, which is disappointing because I remember once upon a time there being rumors that season 2 would be adapting and, like, moving forward in time, like maybe it would cut ahead a couple of years to, like, 1999, and the X-Men would be wearing their Grant Morrison, Frank Quitely new X-Men era costumes, which I adore, as I've already made evident. But god damn it, that doesn't seem like it's happening. Seems like they're adapting Age of Apocalypse. Great. Awesome. I'm so excited. Because in this grouping, we have Morph, Polaris, Storm, Cyclops, Jean Grey, Cable, Sunspot, Rogue, Forge, Bishop, Beast, Jubilee, Magneto, Nightcrawler, Wolverine, and Professor X. And they're all wearing different kinds of weird outfits. Scott, Jubilee, Scott, Jean, Morph, Nightcrawler and Rogue, I guess. They're all wearing weird, like, apocalyptic versions of their outfits. Like, Scott has a big, like, leather coat on with giant shoulder pads and a giant bandana around his throat. Jean is wearing a woman version of that. Like, it's just the same thing, but smaller. Morph is also wearing a version of it, except he cut off the sleeves. And Nightcrawler has a big dumb poncho. But, like, it's like a post-apocalyptic look, right? Like, if Scott grew his hair out, it would look kind of similar, I guess, to... Well, what is that, though? Hold on. Because I just noticed that Scott has a white... It looks like his shirt is just white. But looking at this picture, hopefully I'll remember to put it on the video, like, right here, so you also can see it if you are watching. If you're listening, just Google it, I guess. Google X-Men Season 2 character poster. He's wearing his X-Factor outfit, because it looks like Jean is also wearing her X-Factor outfit. Because you can kind of see, like, the angle of the middle half of the X on Scott and Jean's. So they suddenly have their X-Factor uniforms, but also there's stuff with Apocalypse, and, like they just look like it's a post-apocalyptic world. Literally and, metaphorically. In that Apocalypse has taken over some way. So, like, wait a minute. Professor X is... I don't think I've finished it. Professor X is either in space with Lilandra, his space girlfriend, or he also got sent through time. Assuming he got sent through time, does that mean... Is that their way to adapt Age of Apocalypse, where David Haller goes back and fucks with time itself and, like, stops whatever from happening? And that leads to Apocalypse having, like, free reign because Professor X wasn't there or whatever. Magneto has a dumb little mustache, by the way, if anybody's wondering. But, yeah, I really hope this isn't an Age of Apocalypse thing, because I'm not a big fan of that. I don't really care. Also, Wolverine doesn't have a nose. It's that version of Wolverine. It's feral Wolverine. It's the Wolverine with the crazy hair, where he's like, I'm Wolverine. I don't have a nose. I look like a leper. And he has the bone claws after the adamantium gets removed. Is it either going to be Magneto, or is it going to be Apocalypse that does it? And he looks so stupid. This is coming from someone who actually thoroughly enjoyed X-Men 97, and I also don't like the original 90s show. I've never actually watched it fully. I've only tried to... I've tried to start watching it like 3 different times, and I just cannot get into it. Maybe I'll try it again. Maybe I'll do like a commentary as well. Maybe that'll help me get through it, is if I just watch the whole show and do commentary tracks over top. And just, post it to Patreon, post little highlights on the YouTube channel before this season comes out, whenever it comes out. But goddamn, dude, I don't like it. I think it would have been far more interesting Well, again, I don't think I finished the show, so I don't know. Just feel like it would have been far more interesting if, like, they did however many seasons, and, like, every season, do it like they did with the movies, I guess. The rebooted movies, where it's like, this movie is in 1962? This movie's in 1972. This movie's in 1984. This movie's in 1996. You know, do that. But for this, so like, you know, X-Men 97. X-Men 97 season 2 takes place in like 98, 99. X-Men 97 season 3 takes place 2001. X-Men 97 season 4 takes place in 05. So on and so forth. Because that way you really could have gotten your bang for your buck with this, like, the soap operaization of what the X-Men was. Kind of like what Chris Claremont wanted it to be as well. Especially if you're introducing characters like Quentin Quire and whoever these other two young mutants are. I have no clue who these could possibly be. I don't recognize either of them. But, like, you could bring in these new characters and you just be like, yeah, Nightcrawler's retiring. His retirement party's here. Here's his replacement. Scott and Jean, they're leaving. I don't know. Did they have a baby in the show? Like, did they do that storyline with Madeline Pryor? Scott and Jean are also retiring to, like, you know, they're going to teach full time or something at the school. So now we start following new characters. Like, you do so much, but now they're just doing some fucking time travel thing? Like a 3-way time travel thing? 3-way, 4-way? I don't know. How many groups were there? Also, Jubilee looks odd. I don't like her haircut. It's like a weird, thick bowl cut, but it makes her look like she's 36. Rogue looking good like always. Bishop, he's still wearing his little conductor outfit. Interesting that he's the only one that still has the same outfit. Him and Gable. I guess because they're time travelers. They can, you know, time travel to a fashion store.